once Operation Dental started forming, I mean, my knee-jerk reaction would go back to my experience with that big DSO, because I was like, well, they were a big company and we're adding multiple locations. They have 1,000, we have 2, same thing. So I was like, well, how do we compete with them? It felt like a David and Goliath scenario. Well, because I had worked firsthand with them, and we were starting to bring on dentists that also worked firsthand with the same company, it was like, well, they do these things right, but they also do these things that aren't right. So it gave us a really good blueprint of how to be better. I ended up working for a big DSO that many of us know. There was always this overbearing like pressure to produce. You know, every morning huddle, it was like, how much money did we make yesterday? How much money are we going to make today? I was so young. I thought this was just the way healthcare was. But over time, I just started to notice that, no, this is just the way these big corporate DSOs are. They're just very money hungry. And I was really thirsty for just, you know, a more authentic way of practicing. But I got this pull to Orlando, maybe because I knew you were there. So I found a practice for sale in Winter Park, Florida. I had never really spent much time in Winter Park. I just knew it was a nice area. And I made a visit, met the selling doctor, and he was this really nice, gentle man. And he was just in like a standalone building. And I just felt like, wow, I think this is for me. So I jumped on the opportunity to purchase it. I was 27 at the time. I really had zero business knowledge. I mean, I thought just because I had a dental degree, I was qualified to own a practice, when that's not entirely true.
On the Inc. 5000, time and time again, dental management, dental consulting, dental DSO. I had no idea what any of these things really were. But I just knew that I enjoyed managing people in a small business, and that it made perfect sense to me that dentists went to school to be dentists, not to run the business. What resonated with me when we were forming something that was real was you kept saying, I've been through all 3 options for a dentist. We need to come up with something better for the dentist. And we can, because I've been there. I know what works in each one. And that was really your vision behind the whole company.
It's important to me that we maintain our independence from external equity. You know, you don't have any private equity telling you have to grow 20, 30, 40% every single year because they're going to exit the company and sell you off to some other private equity company that's going to want to do the same thing over and over again. I'm tired of that story, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I'm sick of that story.
Yeah.
And that's where I get a bit defensive about, you know, what we can do in our industry, because we're not inventing anything new here. Dentistry's existed for thousands of years. You know, we're not building the next newest iPhone. Patients don't care that we're private equity backed or the biggest. Like, I truly think the bigger you are, at least in this profession, the worse you get. You get bigger and you start to suck more.
Yeah.
So I really, you know, you asked, where do we want to go in 3 years? It's like, not there.
Yeah.